By now you should have a strong foundation of Dialplan basics. You're probably even comfortable with some of the more complicated concepts implemented in the Asterisk Dialplan. In this chapter, we'll continue building on your Dialplan knowledge by introducing some of the most powerful features yet. First, we'll explore asterisk expressions and how they apply to conditionally branching applications like goToIf to dynamically route calls in the Dialplan. Then we'll look at Dialplan functions, which allow us to change channel settings during live calls. Finally, we'll introduce Dialplan subroutines, which make it easy to reuse sections of the Dialplan and minimize needless repetition. For this module, we have turned on syntax highlighting in our examples and CLI output. You may wish to pause the presentation to study the examples given on each slide before moving on. We highly encourage you to plug these examples into your own Dialplan and view the CLI output for yourself. In the Asterisk Dialplan, an expression is a statement that is dynamically evaluated by a special parser when the extension is executed on a live call. Expressions often include a combination of strings, variables, and operators that can be used to manipulate the path a call takes through the Dialplan. We'll look at the syntax and then show some examples. Expressions are wrapped by a $sign and square brackets. Be careful not to get this syntax confused with the $sign and curly brackets used by asterisk variables. It can be especially confusing when you have an expression that includes one or more variables. Some text editors have a syntax highlighting feature to help you make sure grouping symbols match. If you don't have access to such a feature, you can verify that the syntax is right by starting from the innermost set of grouping symbols and matching opening and closing symbols from the inside out. The asterisk expression parser recognizes several types of operators. Mathematical operators provide for basic arithmetic operation. These include addition, subtraction, multiplication, floating point division, and the modulus operation. Relational operators allow for comparison of expression elements. These operators include equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and not equal to. Boolean operators are logical operators like and, or that evaluate the truth of an expression. These follow the same behavior as in other computing systems. For example, an expression using the Boolean AND operator would look like this, with the ampersand symbol between the expressions indicating the AND operation. The overall operation is true only if both of the sub-expressions are true. If either sub-expression is false, the overall operation is false. There are several other operators the expression parser recognizes, which we won't discuss in detail. For our first example, we'll use a simple arithmetic expression. Here we're summing the integers 2 and 3, which evaluates to 5. Asterisk 1.8 supports floating point arithmetic and expressions, so you can use numbers that include a decimal point if you wish. When this extension is dialed, the asterisk CLI will literally print expression evaluates to 5 to the console. It doesn't print the expression itself, it just prints the result obtained when the expression is evaluated. Asterisk performs variable substitution before it evaluates expressions. This makes it possible to use variables inside an expression. In our previous example, we showed 2 plus 3. Here we've replaced the 2 with the variable var1. Looking at the console output, you can see the evaluation of the expression changes as the variable changes. We can also store the result of an evaluated expression into a variable for use elsewhere in the Dialplan. One very common use of expressions and variables is to increment the value of a variable. We start by setting the value of count to 3. In the next priority, the expression count plus 1 goes through variable substitution and is transformed into 3 plus 1. The expression then evaluates to 4. The new value is then written back to the count variable. As we'll see when we discuss looping and conditional branching, this can come in very handy. There are a few things to keep in mind to avoid unexpected behavior when using expressions in your Dialplan. It's strongly recommended that you use an editor that includes syntax highlighting to ensure that you don't forget or transpose any grouping symbols. Embedding multiple variables and functions inside of an expression, that is, an argument to an application, can make it very difficult to accurately read an extension. When troubleshooting a problem with an expression, observe the CLI when calling the extension in question. Asterisk will often display a warning message if there is a syntax error. Here you can see the square bracket and parenthesis have been transposed. From Asterisk point of view, the closed parenthesis signifies the end of the set application. Asterisk expects the expression that was opened with the square bracket to be closed before the set application closes, so the CLI output shows missing square bracket. The caret here shows the location of the error. In this case, the missing bracket is expected after the +1. Another type of error occurs when you have the wrong number of operands for a specified operator. One common example of this is shown here. In this extension, the variable count is intended to be incremented. You can see on the CLI when this extension is dialed that the variable substitution fails and the expression parser throws an error. The problem here is that the count variable had not previously been initialized, so it currently has a null value. Asterisk cannot add 1 to null, so the error states unexpected addition operator. Again, the caret is pointing to the location of the error on the line. This is easily fixed by adding a line of Dialplan. On the CLI, you can see that initializing the value of count to 0 allows the next priority to be executed without error. The variable substitution takes place and the expression evaluates to 1, which is then stored into the count variable. Asterisk expressions offer a way to combine various Dialplan elements like strings, values, and variables, along with a variety of operators so that you can evaluate several different kinds of statements. We've introduced several different types of operators and given some use examples. We've also shown some basic CLI troubleshooting related to expressions. In the next module, we'll build on our newfound knowledge of expressions by using them to implement conditional branching and loops in the Dialplan.